Hi everyone, it's me, Skelton, with another vlog chat for you. This is kind of a difficult video to make. I'd like to discuss my side of the story involving an incident at the Stonewall Jackson Monument here in Richmond, Virginia. I've been having a lot of issues lately. I think I have some emotional distress. Unfortunately, someone sent me a link to a video of what happened of the incident where I was involved, and I couldn't watch it. I watched a little bit of it, and I started having problems right away. This has been a very difficult time for me, and I want to tell everybody I really need your thoughts and prayers, because I feel I'm under a vicious demonic attack, spiritually and everything else. I want to make it clear that I'm not a hateful person, and I would like to explain, why I defend these monuments and historical landmarks. First of all, I'll explain the story if I can remember. Wednesday I was very emotionally charged because I wasn't feeling very well. My father had fallen earlier that day, and I'm taking care of him. He's elderly, and I felt very overwhelmed. Then I saw a witness to. I saw something on a social media post that showed the cranes up at Stonewall Jackson Monument. There's already been talk that the mayor would start removing monuments early. I felt very driven at that point and compelled to take a stand, and I went with a family member. They dropped me off at a certain point near the monument, and I grabbed my flag. So I had no weapons. I was unarmed, and I walked through the crowd, and I kept going, and I just felt this anxiety and this urgency, and I kept walking, and before I knew it, I was in front of hundreds of people, and I stood right in front of the Stonewall Jackson Monument, right at the base of it. And immediately one of the crew members was telling me to leave, but I was trying to tell the crowd that this is our history you're taking away from us. Please don't do this. This is a mistake. This isn't right. And I could feel this hate, this intense satanic hate from the crowd. And they were jeering at me and calling me a loser, which I expected. But there was this one very nice black guy in a red hat, and he kept saying, leave him alone. He's being peaceful. He's being peaceful. Well, at that moment, things escalated, and I felt very overwhelmed, and my sensory issues took over. And when I was trying to talk to the crowd, I started crying, and I didn't really know how to get control of my emotions, and everything seemed like a movie. I didn't know where I was, and I kept calling for Jesus, and I kept saying, I don't know where I am, leave me alone. And then before I knew it, the police grabbed a hold of me. They grabbed a hold of my arms, and that frightened me. But in the video, it looks like I'm trying to hit the police, but I was trying to grab my flag, which someone stole from me. Someone ripped my flag from me, and I didn't know which end was up. I couldn't tell who was the police and who wasn't, and I kept flailing my arms trying to grab my flag. And before I knew it, I was being escorted through this crowd that was jeering at me and taking pictures and yelling things at me. And I had water thrown at me, which, I'm just very thankful it was just water and not something else. Before I knew it, I was put into the back of a police car. And people were cheering, and they were so happy that I got out of their way of taking down, their glorious moment of destroying history. They were so happy that I was removed, and I remember feeling very defeated, but I was sobbing, and I couldn't get a hold of my emotions, and I was rocking back and forth. I had to tell the policeman, I'm autistic. I need help. And so the policemen, they were very nice. They were really nice. I believe they what they did was they had to remove me really for my protection. I don't think they were trying to trample on my First Amendment. But at that point when they grabbed me, I thought, oh no, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail, and I'll have to use a public bathroom, and I'll have a criminal record, and I'll be locked up with criminals, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. But the only thing I could think of is, what could they charge me with other than disturbing the peace? But how can you charge me with disturbing the peace when you got a big crane over the Stonewall Jackson monument and people jeering at you? Why would I be the one disturbing the peace? Well, they didn't arrest me. They took me home, and I thanked them so much. And I said, thank you so much. And I apologize for putting them, I put them in danger too, because there was a big crowd of people. And after I got home, I was shaking and I couldn't focus, and I stumbled inside, and my father was there, and he had just been seeing a nurse. He was just glad I was okay. And so looking back on it, I have conflicted views on if I did the right thing or not. Part of me says no, because it was really foolish. I could have been seriously hurt. I could have gone to jail. But the other part of me says yes, because I stood up for something. I stood up for history, and I stood up for Stonewall Jackson, a brave patriot. And a lot of people, I'll tell you something that you may not know, is that Stonewall Jackson taught the slaves how to read when it was illegal at that time, and he also was not a slave owner. But he was born in what is now West Virginia, but was then Virginia. He was a scholar and a great teacher, and he taught at Virginia Military Institute. And like Robert E. Lee, he was a devout Christian, and he couldn't turn his back on his people. He loved his home, Virginia, and he fought for his people, defending their homes from tyranny. And they keep teaching these lies that all these statues are Jim Crow statues, and that's just not true. It's a lie. But all these people have been brainwashed, and so I feel that I stood up for trying to save a historical landmark. And I will explain to people that aren't from Richmond that Monument Avenue is different from other Confederate places, because it's a national landmark, and it's like an outdoor museum. And people came from all over the world, because whether you like it or not, that was part of our history, and that was our story. And Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee, Murray and Jeb Stuart were all Virginians. I will be honest, I never really cared. I never really was into Jefferson Davis. If we had to lose one statue, I could get over that. But the other ones are part of my identity too, because my mother's family has been in the Richmond area since 1620. And they were one of the earliest settlers in the region. And they lived in Richmond for generations. And my ancestors all fought on this soil, not including my Potomac Indian heritage. This feels like an attack on my identity, my heritage, my Southern heritage. I will mention also that Richmond is in a vicarious position because it's the northernmost southern city. It's the first city on the East Coast that's identifiably southern. And, well, actually technically Fredericksburg, but Fredericksburg's not a very big city. So Richmond's the first major southern city as you make your way down the East Coast. And what this means is that Richmond is no longer a southern destination because we've lost Monument Avenue. Our culture, identity, our southern culture has been dismantled, destroyed, annihilated. And I feel like maybe if one person can take a stand, just one person, then maybe others will feel compelled to do the same. I only wish some others, but I feel that I represent the silent majority, because despite what the media might try to show on TV, a majority of people, even in the city of Richmond, were not in favor of removing these monuments. It's a small faction of people that have garnered control. What they're doing right now is what I felt, and it's not just about a statue, it's what this represents. This is a communist takeover. In Nazi Germany, one of the first things they did was erase the history. In communist countries, the first thing they do, remove historical landmarks. People don't understand this. They keep calling the statue racist and white supremacy. They don't see the big picture. And maybe you don't agree with me, and that's fine, but I had to take a stand as someone who lives in the city of Richmond. I'm not from outside Richmond. I live in Richmond. And I live here. This is my city too that you're destroying. And I will bring up one final point, is that the mayor did not have legal jurisdiction to remove these statues. Even under the new law, there has to be due process. He did not have the right to take them down yet. And he violated the law. And I was standing on principle, saying this is wrong. And and I'm prepared, because I know people are going to go after my music. They're going to say, you're a horrible musician, you have no talent, you're a loser. I'm prepared for all of that. I don't care anymore. I've been told that for years. I know I'm a failed musician. I've been on the fringes for almost 20 years, and I never even had a hit record. The closest thing I ever did to my acting career was an uncredited featured extra in a low-budget Civil War movie. And I had to play a dead Yankee, of all things. So I'm well aware that I'm a failure. You don't need to tell me that. I already know. But I don't care what you think about me. I care about principle. And I stood up for what I believed was right. And if we continue to destroy these monuments, then we're paving the way for the new world order, the communist order. And I hear so many people over and over say, put it in a museum, put it in a museum. They're burning the museums. They're going after the battlefields. There is no place anymore to preserve things. It's either you stand up for it or capitulate. And I chose to stand up. And I stood in front of the noble Stonewall Jackson, and I will say that he has had more character and more class than any of those people out there calling me a loser. He looked down on those people, and he will be in heaven because he was a Christian. And all those people jeering at me, well, I don't care anymore. I did what I felt I had to do. And I think the only mistake I made was going there under emotional distress, because I lost it. I lost control of my emotions in front of hundreds of people, and I was witnessed on the news. And this might forever affect my life. I may never get a job after this. I may never have another gig after this. But I will say it was worth it. I took a stand. And to those who took my flag and burned it, woe be to you, because you have made an idol out of yourselves. And I don't care if you burn my flag. I just had to take a stand for something. If you don't take a stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So thank y'all for watching. This was my story. And share it if you like. You can call me a loser. You can call me fat and ugly and stupid. But I don't care. I don't care anymore. Your words will not hurt me, because I stand up for truth. So thank you for watching, and God bless. Bye.